Welcome you all for a short overview of the Confessions by Saint Augustine. Saint Augustine of Hippo. Augustine was born at Thagaste in Roman Africa and lived between 30 November 354 to 28 August 430 AD. Thagaste is the modern-day Algeria. His family members were ethnic North Africans, but the area was heavily Romanized and they spoke Latin at home. In 384 AD, he was given a more prestigious position as a rhetoric professor at the imperial court of Milan. Milan is the city in northern Italy. He also became friendly with Ambrose, the Bishop of Milan. Augustine listened to the most sophisticated lectures of Bishop Ambrose and gained a new insight into Christianity. This friendship and the genuine spirituality of Ambrose was influential in reawakening Augustine's interest in Christianity. Eventually, though he had an affair with a young woman from Carthage and had illegitimate son from her, he annulled or made invalid his marriage as he plans to become a priest. In 386 AD, at the age of 31, he made a formal conversion to Christianity. He also reported hearing an inner voice which told him to take up the Bible and read. In 391 AD, he became the Bishop of Hippo. That's why he is often referred as Saint Augustine of Hippo, a city in Algeria. And for the next 39 years, he became an influential preacher, often speaking against his former religion of Manichaeism. Manichaeism is a religion of pure reason as opposed to Christian religion. It is to be noted that in the last half of his life, Augustine was noted for his piety, shunning his former lifestyle and living a life of simplicity and devotion. He is now identified as theologian, philosopher, and the former Bishop of Hippo in Numidia of Roman North Africa. Notable works of Saint Augustine. Augustine was one of the most prolific Latin authors in terms of surviving works. The list of his works consists of more than 100 separate titles. Augustine is probably best known for his Confessions, which is a personal account of his earlier life, written between AD 397 to 400. On the Trinity, written in AD 400, has become known as the psychological analogy and is also considered to be among his masterpieces and arguably of more doctrinal importance than the Confessions. The next notable work of Saint Augustine is The City of God. It consists of 22 books, which he wrote to restore the confidence of his fellow Christians. The book was published in AD 426. It was also a response to allegations that Christianity brought about the decline of Rome. On Christian Doctrine is another theological text which consists of 4 books that describe how to interpret and teach from the scriptures. About the work The Confessions. Confessions is an autobiographical work consisting of 13 books written in Latin between AD 397 to 400. The work is widely seen as the first Western Christian autobiography ever written and was an influential model for Christian writers and the modern tradition of autobiography. The work is not complete autobiography as it was written during Saint Augustine's early 40s because he lived long afterwards, producing another important work called The City of God. However, the book provides an unbroken record of his development of thought and is the most complete record of any single person from the 4th and 5th centuries. Apart from the Bible, it is one of the most influential books in the Catholic religion. The work presents a wonderful contrast between the holy God and sinful man. The book outlines Saint Augustine's sinful youth and his conversion to Christianity. The book is an intriguing piece of philosophy from a first-person perspective. The conversation is always between I and you. I refers to Augustine himself and you refers to God. No doubt, the book Confessions is a significant theological work featuring spiritual meditations and insights. Book 1, Early Life, chapters 1 to 5. Augustine opens his spiritual journey in praise of God. The opening paragraph contains one of Augustine's most famous statements about humanity's relationship with God. Our heart is restless until it rests in you. How human beings can rest in God? Can they do it without the assistance of God? No. According to Augustine, human beings naturally long to rest in God, to know God, and to harmonize their wills with God's will. Because human beings are weak and sinful, and they can never hope to do this without God's assistance. Thus, Augustine addresses God directly throughout the Confessions, that he sometimes seems to forget the presence of his human audience. According to Augustine, God is the one who fills all of creation. He is perfect, eternal, unchangeable, all-powerful, and the source of all goodness. God is beyond Augustine's ability to describe, so he asked God for the words to describe such greatness. Chapter 6 and 7. Chapter 6 introduces Augustine's infancy. He informs that everything that has sustained, even the production of mother's milk, the instinct of a mother to feed her child, and a baby's desire for nourishment, are part of the natural order ordained by God and reflect God's goodness and generosity. Augustine affirms that the material world is good because God made it, and the material world expresses God's perfect beauty and order. What is meant by material world? It is the physical world, the nature, the real things, rather than ideas and beliefs. Augustine also believes in the idea of original sin inherited by all human beings from the first man Adam. Augustine is quick to clarify that God did not make sin. Sin is humanity's responsibility for him. Original sin is the condition that inclines human beings to selfishness and disobedience. He also thanks God for the good gifts of his body, his life, and his senses, because these are the gifts that reflect God's perfect ordering of all things. Chapters 8 to 11. Language is Augustine's key to entry into human society, and it becomes his key to worldly success. In learning language, Augustine joined human society. As a schoolboy, Augustine was beaten when he was lazy. Augustine further states the masters or teachers who punish him share the same childish sins of jealousy and anger that he does. However, Augustine states that he deserved his punishment not because he was lazy or stupid, but because he disobeyed his parents and teachers. He again affirms here that disobedience is the foundation of all human sinfulness. Baptism in Christianity is regarded as cleansing the believer from all previously committed sins, and therefore any sins committed after baptism would be much harder to forgive. Regarding baptism, he praises his mother Monica. At the same time, he expresses his disappointment as well. His mother Monica lets an important opportunity to save Augustine, because his mother thought it better to let him face the temptations of adolescence before baptism, so Augustine was not baptized as a child. Chapters 12 to 20. In these chapters, Augustine is sharply critical of the literature-based curriculum of his childhood, which valued artistic style over moral content. He reports that he loved reading Latin literature but always hated Greek. He disliked learning and reading vain stories which directed Augustine's emotions to wrong ends. According to Augustine, traditional education teaches immoral fictions encouraging readers to sin. Augustine states that he hated being forced to study, and those who forced him had only empty glory in their mind. Augustine describes himself as a very bad little boy. He lies, he steals, he tattles on his friends, and he even cheats in order to win. Augustine also takes time to describe some of his good personal qualities. He loves the truth, enjoys his friends, and he is intelligent and he has a good memory. He says God has given him many admirable talents and qualities, but he sinned himself in looking for truth and beauty in the world rather than in God, and this led Augustine into confusion. Thus, Augustine outlines the spiritual meditations and insights in Book 1 of the Confessions. Thank you for patiently listening to my lecture. If you find this useful, subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you.